Yes, folks, the Socialist-cum-Communist takeover is happening as we speak. They've borrowed $50 billion. $30 billion has already been spent and $20 billion has been set aside for vote buying around election time. They've bought the Maori vote with a $900 million bribe, and I've posted a link to that in the description below. They've secured the left-wing tertiary sector vote with a free $1.6 billion training program when the kids could learn far quicker and better by being placed directly with the tradespeople for free. They've bought the welfare vote with a promise of 8,000 new state houses. Well, good luck with that when they couldn't even get Kiwi built right. And of course, they've secured the Green vote with a $1.1 billion Green New Deal. And the Greens have even been promised more, and I'll focus on that a bit later. But first, I'll start this off with Jacinda's dirty, filthy lie.
And that is why we as a country took on the challenge of staring down COVID-19. Because we believed that decisive action, going hard and going early, gave us the very best chance of stamping out the virus.
Now, I don't know how many times I've heard that dirty, filthy lie. No, Jacinda, you didn't go hard and you didn't go early. You went soft and you went late. Have a look at this. Now, this is the Radio New Zealand timeline. And try to remember this date here. On 22 February, 634 cases are confirmed on the Diamond Princess cruise ship. Italy quarantines more than 50,000 people from 11 different municipalities in the north of the country. That's on 22nd February. So I'll just come down a bit. March 19, nearly 1 month later. For the first time in history, the government closes the country's borders to all but New Zealand citizens and permanent residents. So that border closing was about 1 month late, as the evidence was plain to see from Wuhan and Italy that the virus was coming here. In actual fact, it got here 3 weeks before this border was closed. And that border closing was soft because it didn't quarantine everyone. It was about 3 weeks later when the real closing happened. So yes, Jacinda, your soft late approach has needlessly cost New Zealand $50 billion. But no, we still need advice from your greeny children.
Welcome back. Environmental advocates fear the government missed an opportunity to tackle climate change in the budget. They're disappointed not only by a lack of funding, but also of a vision for how New Zealand can stop further damage to our environment. Here's Kushla Norman.
Socially distanced young activists chalking up a very different international school strike for Climate Day. They say the message is more urgent than ever.
We want to see more from the government to take action on climate change now, because this COVID situation has given us a turning point to act on climate change. And it is so important that we do that now, because we'll be the generation that's not only going to face the effects of climate change, but will literally have to pay for them.
The lockdown gave the environment a breather, but those looking for a longer-term vision to tackle climate change didn't find it in the budget.
It's a good budget for fixing up environmental problems from the past, but it's not a good budget for looking to the future to avoid future environmental devastation.
The government has long aspired to fight climate change.
This is my generation's nuclear-free moment, and I am determined we will tackle it head on.
Minister's speech yesterday, she didn't utter the words climate change once. Still, the government did announce spending $1.1 billion to create environmental jobs in areas like cleaning up waterways and pest control. Greenpeace, though, says it's like putting an ambulance at the bottom of the cliff.
The pollution's still pouring in at the top of the river, so until we support a transition from industrial agriculture with too many cows over to regenerative agriculture...
So organic hobby farms are the way to dig us out of this hole your dear leader created.
We're still going to get lots of climate emissions and lots of pollution in our waterways.
And the more that we can get rid of wilding pines, the more you see native bush bouncing back, the more we can restore wetlands. All of those things help to soak up greenhouse gas emissions.
The Climate Change Minister hinting there'll be more money to come on tackling the climate crisis.
So more money to come. Now this is from the newsroom. There was a $1.1 billion environmental jobs package, to be sure, but barely any mention of climate change, supposedly one of the government's top priorities. Ardern suggested more climate change support could come in the form of the $3 billion infrastructure package. So unproductive wind farms and solar panels are on their way. And what exactly does this debt actually mean? Now this video came via email from the Taxpayers Union, so it's been pre-recorded. Unsurprisingly, the government's budget responsibility rules, which cap government spending and debt in coming years, are dead. Net debt is forecast to climb from $57.7 billion, $31,500 per household or 19% of GDP, to $200.8 billion, $109,700 per household or 53.6% of GDP. By 2024. Deficits are expected to average $28 billion, $15,300 per household per year across 2020 to 2022. It's easy to get lost in the numbers, but these are truly eye-watering figures. More than 1 in every $4 spent by the taxpayers will be borrowed over the next 3 years. Wow. Yeah, but no, we still need COVID-19 advice from Greta.
One of the things I've seen you talk about online too is just how important it is to listen to experts and listen to science. And this is a time when, I was not a very good science student when I was in school, but this is a time it seems that, the global scientific community is so critically important, and we're really seeing just how important it is to follow science. Yes, exactly. And I hope that we can see now the scientific community are stepping up, and they are speaking up more than they're done before, because obviously this is a crisis that would require the scientific community to speak up. And I hope that people really, it feels like science is getting, the role of science is changing now. It's becoming more, people are starting to realize that we are actually depending on science and that we need to listen to scientists and experts.
Yes, expert advice like this.
There is no reason for measures that unnecessarily interfere with international travel and trade. If we invest in fighting at the epicenter, at the source, then the spread to other countries is minimal and also slow. If it's minimal and slow, what is going outside can also be controlled easily. So the number of cases, for instance, we have now, as we speak, 151, it's actually small, and it's coming only slow. So it can be managed.
Yeah. Now, folks, going by that News Hub Reid Research poll this morning, with Labour on 56% and National on 30%, it looks like the Socialist-cum-Communist takeover is done and dusted. But on the positive side, it looks like Simon Bridges will be gone. But who will replace him? That's the question.